So my day is going really well. Today is still Tuesday, June 30th, and I am excited because my little program that I'm using, I'm not actually using a program, but my workflow that I'm using to create these shorts is going really well. Also, too, I just uploaded my vlog where I talk about some mother dynamics and situations like that. And that's scary, but so far my phone is not blowing up. And my phone started ringing at one point. It wasn't actually my phone, but my watch started buzzing. It was like, oh shit, somebody's calling. The flying monkeys are coming. And so it was some scam, not scam, but spam call. And so far, no flying monkeys coming after me. No screaming and yelling from anybody. Nobody banging down my door, coming to kill me. Whatever other scenarios the little girl in me is making up in her head for fear of telling the truth. So far, so good. But what I wanted to just briefly come on here and say, as I'm taking a brief break from this project of working on these shorts, is why can't some of these fucking companies get up with the times? HOA sends a voting ballot that we have to like print the fucking PDF, fill out the form, and then mail it in the mail. It's like, get with the times. Figure out how to do this shit electronically. It's annoying. Who fucking has to go to the mailbox these days? Oh, anyway, these are first world problems, right? But it's just irritating because now I gotta go and do that shit. Annoying. I love everything to be electronic. Like sometimes it can be frustrating. Like the other day I needed to talk to an Amazon customer service, and you go to Amazon and you cannot figure out how to get just find the live chat button. Give me somebody to chat with, not like all this AI shit. So sometimes it goes too far on one side, but then, not enough on the other. And so it's like, get with the fucking times, but don't make it so like technology driven that you cannot speak to a human being when you need help. So what I did with the Amazon situation is I Googled like accessibility services and got a phone number and was able to have someone call me back. But it was totally ridiculous. I was getting frustrated because I'm like, I need to just talk to somebody about my situation. And thankfully I did. And thankfully the person was very helpful. But it's like, there's got to be a happy medium between being, tech savvy and making it very easy and simple. Like today, I just paid a bunch of my bills. I did it all from my phone. It was all easy and simple. And I love that. But then I get this email from the HOA with a PDF attached and just like download the PDF and fill out the ballot. It's like, fuck all. Like, come on now. We pay a HOA fee. You guys need to get up with technology and make it so that we don't have to like do all this shit. Even if you send us something that was DocuSign, you know what I mean? But damn, now we got to go and print the motherfucker out and take it to the goddamn mailbox. And that's annoying, even though the mailbox is right across the street and it's not that big of a deal. All I have to do is walk out of my garage and walk across the thing and stick it in the mailbox. But it's still, I like efficiency. All right, I'm done with my rant now. I'm going back to my project. Thanks for listening. Subscribe. So I'm taking a break from my project, my shorts project, and just relaxing. And as I'm working on one particular video where I got pretty heated talking about these so-called family members and what they did to me and how I feel that they owe me an apology and everything else. And it's one thing that comes to mind is just as I was replaying it and thinking about anger and being pissed and those kinds of things, I think what happens for me sometimes is that sometimes it's hard for me I don't know if it's hard for me to be mad because I'm not in touch with my anger, or sometimes if it's hard for me to be mad because I'm people pleasing and just, don't want to have conflict, or if it's hard for me to be mad because my life is so good and God is so good, the God of my understanding, in terms of like me understanding at a higher level that everything is a lesson and everything does happen for a reason and for a good reason and for my greater good. And so with all those things being said, I feel like sometimes even if I do have anger, it doesn't stay or it doesn't stick because I can see that something better is coming, or something is there to teach me and for me to learn a lesson or whatever. And so it's interesting because I was thinking about back in 2004 when I first went to go see a therapist. I went to see a therapist in 2002, but then I changed therapists in 2004. And when I went to go see this therapist, she saw me for a couple sessions, and it was at the Agape International Spiritual Center. And at that time, I had really been like in the New Thought movement and really kind of changed my way of thinking. Like I was really, a lot more optimistic instead of pessimistic, and was definitely in that toxic positivity phase of life. And it was very interesting because the therapist at one point in time told me, she said, "You're very naive." And I was like, what? Because, I was having different things that I was telling her about. And she said, "You're very naive." And I was like, what? And so she explained it to me, and she explained that I was very naive in terms of like really understanding human behavior and seeing things for what they really were versus what I optimistically was looking at. And so I'm reminded of that today because of just thinking about how when I rekindled with Bumbelina's family and Bumbelina herself, I'm just trying to be careful not to use their names. When I rekindled with them in 2024, I had just come from having a serious health challenge where I almost died, right? And I know I've said this before. Not only that, I had been laid off from work. And so like before, where I had a life and everything poured into work, my life was kind of empty, and I had the health challenge. And so when they came back into my life, it was at a time where I really was longing for connection and happy to be connected with them again, because I had just my life was empty because I had just lost my job several months prior to that, and then I had also had the health challenge where I almost died. And so it just, my whole perspective on life was really different in terms of like, wow, my life was saved. I'm so grateful and I'm so happy, and I don't want to carry bitterness in my heart towards these people who I have called family, even though we're not blood related. Some of us are blood related, but not all of us. And I really don't want to fight. Like, I don't want to be upset with you anymore about what happened. I just want to move forward. And I'm realizing that technically that the whole time and I reached out to Bumbelina's mother first, not Bumbelina herself. And I feel like it took some time for Bumbelina to actually warm up to me, because I think she was definitely still ready to continue to give me that silent treatment. And so I definitely feel like at first it took some time for me and her to warm up to each other. But I was in a space of like reconciliation at the time that we reconciled. And then as we started hanging out more and we got used to each other again, we just never talked about what happened in 2013 and the whole situation. And I really thought I had let it go. And so now looking at my video and me talking about it, it's just like, wow, this is the problem with just letting the passage of time happen and then reconciling without actually repair. And that's problematic. because clearly I did not recognize that these people haven't changed that much. Yes, they welcome me back into the family, but they really haven't changed. That their behavior is still the same and or similar, that if you do something that upsets them, and that they don't agree with, they're going to stop speaking to you. and so it's happened again. And so I understand it. And, quite frankly, even though it's painful, I'm happy because there's a part of me that doesn't want to be around unhappy people, miserable people, people who have these kind of challenges, emotionally immature and all of that. And so it's like there's a higher self that understands that they're doing me a favor by letting me move on with my life, basically, because the people that I'm finding now, I'm much happier being around, and I'm much happier being with seemingly at least emotionally mature people, and also being a better friend to myself and pouring into myself, because I was pouring into them and that was a mistake. You know what I mean? I don't have regrets about pouring into them, but I was still trying to hide behind somebody else instead of pouring into myself. And so once again, it's hard for me to stay mad because I understand that there's a lesson that I'm meant to learn. And so I just think it's hilarious because I made a short and I put a top text on it that basically says, it says something about you guys can call me the villain, but you don't control the narrative, because I'm now telling my own story, so they don't control the narrative. But what's so funny is that there's a caption on there underneath where I got a transcription and a closed caption on it. And underneath it says, "Ha ha, seriously." And it's so funny the way that that's what the thumbnail captured for the video. And so I just think it's hilarious because at the end of the day, sometimes I do let things go. Like, for example, even though I'm telling all those stories about my ex-husband and him cheating and all this stuff, I'm not really mad at him. Like, I'm not going to go and be BFFs with him or be friends with his kids or anything. But at the end of the day, I'm not really mad because I know that my life got way better when I left, or when we left each other. I mean, he was cheating on me, so he left me too. But when I finally filled out the divorce papers and filed for divorce, like, I know that my life got exponentially better and that I had to learn lessons through my relationship with him. So the haha seriously on the caption, I'll take a screenshot of it and put it in here. But it's just so funny because it's just like, it's almost like me and a secret joke with the universe of like, yeah, I'm going through all this stuff and I'm talking about it or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you think you can call me the villain, it's kind of like, haha, because you no longer control the narrative. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of funny. It's like an inside joke between me and the universe. Because I've spent so long worried about them and their narrative because they have such a big family system and it's just me. But now, because I'm vlogging and I'm telling my side of the story to whoever will listen, it's like, you can't control me because you can't control the narrative anymore. So I'm not longing for belonging and connection because you're the only family I have. Fuck all you. I'm moving on and I have connection now and I'm happy and I'm doing great. The only thing is still, if I have an emergency, do I have enough support to where I don't need these so-called bullshit ass jackass family members? You know what I mean? And I'm going to change the subject for a second and say that, I talked about what happened last year on the 4th of July holiday coming up. And what's interesting is that this year I am really not feeling like I have to get out on the 4th of July. But it's because I have plans on July 5th. Now, one of my plans on the evening of July 5th got canceled because the show I was going to, the singer, their band are rescheduling and postponing the performance. And I was going to meet some ladies for that evening and have dinner and listen to the show. But I was actually happy that the event got canceled because after my last Saturday on June 27th, when I went to the Grow and Paint and then later to the Mob Museum, and I was so tired at the Mob Museum, I started thinking that really I probably should try to start booking less stuff to do, so that I don't burn myself out. Even though those were the only 2 events that I attended that Saturday, between the vlogging and getting up early and doing all the things and checking my phone and blah, 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 I realized that I have a full schedule and that I need to make sure that I'm incorporating rest as well. So I wasn't mad that the event got canceled on July 5th, but I was kind of bummed for the 2 ladies who were looking forward to going with me or meeting me there. But I'm already doing something on the day of July 5th that's going to be really fun and really cool. And I kind of feel like that's enough. Like I saw a post. Actually, there's something happening on July 3rd. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then I just saw another post in the group where people were talking about doing something on the 4th of July that I was only marginally interested in because it's outdoors and I just don't want to do outdoors. And so it was like, you know what? My schedule is full, and what I'm doing, I'm feeling really fulfilled by in terms of this vlogging and the projects that I'm working on. And so I don't feel like I felt last year of like, well, it's 4th of July and I'm going to hang out with this family and Bumbleina and otherwise my holiday is going to be empty. And it's like, now my life is so full, I'm starting to like edit stuff out. Like, wait a minute, let me take this off the list. And so I'm happy to see that though, because it gives me so many options and it ensures that nobody treats me like shit anymore. You know what I mean? And I didn't let Bumbleina treat me like shit really at all or very often. Like I was definitely saying stuff. And then when I really saw the behavior, I cut that off almost immediately. So it's because the thing is that we formally started our business and formed our business at the end of March of 2025. And by the end of June, that last event that we vended at was June 21st, I think, of 2025. And by that time, I was just about done. Like I still went to some of their kids events and stuff like that. And I wasn't 100% done by June 21st, but by July 3rd and everything that happened right before that with the kids recital and the financial implications thing that happened on June 30th, like by the time they got back from their family trip, I was through. And I was going and doing things by myself and was just like, and not inviting her anymore. Like I was through. But I say all that to say that now the difference between where I was last year versus this year is now my connections and my belonging is full. Like I have so many different options and it's just wonderful. And I love that. And not only that, I'm also pouring into myself and my own projects. I'm not pouring into work. I'm not pouring into anybody else's life and projects. I'm pouring into my own life. And I think that that's making a huge difference in terms of how I show up in any one situation of just like, I have such diversity in my feelings of belonging that no one person now can treat me like shit and I stick around. It's like, oh, this bitch is crazy, I'm out. You know what I mean? Like I just move on of like, this is not my vibe. Like I had a situation where somebody said that they were going to meet me somewhere and come do something. And then at the last minute, while I'm at the venue waiting, I get a text saying, oh, I'm not coming because of blah, blah, blah. And it wasn't like a blah, blah, blah was emergency or anything like that. It was just more like they changed their mind. And I've been cool on that person ever since of like, oh, so it's like that. I see how you operate. I got options, so I'm not going to sit here and go with sloppy joes. Sloppy joes is not my style. And so anyway, I am going to be pretty much done with my break and going back to my shorts editing. I want to at least get the shorts done for at least one more video. And yeah, it's definitely learning lessons, and it's definitely funny. Let me just go and put that screenshot in here of that that thumbnail from my short where it says you can call me the villain, but you don't control the narrative anymore. And that's so liberating. So I guess what I'm really saying is that apparently, me talking about other people running from themselves and everything, all the stuff that I was doing, especially in 2025, even though I thought I was following my dreams and my passions and all the things, I guess I was also running from my own self and my own inner world and I was expressing myself creatively in a lot of the stuff that I was doing. So, I guess it is what it is, but I feel like this year, with the 4th of July rolling around and me already having something to do on the 5th of July, I feel good. It's like, okay, that's enough for me. And the rest of the time I have other things to do. I'm not going to just be sitting at home bored. I have things that I'm going to enjoy. And by the way, let me just show you my living room real quick. Got my Amazon packages all cleaned up, so it's looking nice there. But this is my table that I was telling you about. So this is my 8-foot table where I lay out my outfits for what's coming up. And so this is what I'm going to be wearing for maroon. This is my Moana stuff. This is my my July 5th stuff. And that's just some shapewear. And then I got more stuff that to be added to these spaces. So this table used to be our vending table. And then before that, I had set it up as my music table. And now this is my wardrobe table. For all the events that I'm attending, I'm not putting on jack shit. So that's also very exciting, that these are all the fun things that I'm planning on attending to just relax and receive. And I love that. So love that my living room is nice and clean. And this is my family room that I was telling you guys about, that this couch is horrible. And I've had this couch for probably 25 years, maybe even longer. And I need a new couch. It's not in my budget right now to get a new couch, but I definitely need a new couch. Like, this is one of my only unfinished rooms besides my garage. And my laundry room, I want to hang up all my artwork. So this is kind of embarrassing. But the good news is that I did clean up all the sound bath stuff. And actually, one day, I may want to get some additional patio furniture. But that's an unfinished room. My bedroom is totally unfinished, but I'm fine with my bedroom. Anybody comes, I just close the door. So, moving on. But see, that's also too what the book The Artist's Way talks about. And I forgot all about this, but they talk about, or she talks about, blocked creatives. And right now, because I am using so much of my creativity and I'm enjoying it and having so much to do, that now I'm not like trying to pour into anybody or pour into anything else, because I'm actually now tapping into my creativity and expressing myself creatively, rather than just being bored and doing boring shit. And so I think that that's also why I'm not really, well, and plus I was just really caught up in Bumbleina's world and just waiting for her next, instruction on what she wanted to do. You know what I mean? And, or if I wanted to do something, if she was going to fit into it, and now I don't do that shit anymore. And let's be clear that I've done that with a lot of people, not just Bumbleina, in terms of pouring into other people's projects and ideas instead of coming up. I mean, it's not that I didn't come up with my own ideas, but it was definitely a lot of effort and energy put into let me use my creativity and my skills and abilities to help you with whatever your vision is. And now I feel like I'm operating. I mean, Sisters Who Shine was my vision for sure. And so I poured into that. But now what I'm doing is me, myself, and I, and it doesn't actually require anybody else's participation. I can do it all on my own. My mom just texted me. Hold on. Let's see what she says. Okay, it's all good. All good. All good. No problems whatsoever. And that's beautiful. I forgot what I was saying, so I got to go back and watch the video and figure out what my train of thought was. Hold on. Okay, so what I was saying is that everything in the past of what I've done has kind of relied on the effort or input, or not effort, but the something of other people. But for example, when I worked on my website, when I first started working on my YouTube channel, like there have been certain things where I poured into myself and did my own thing. And that's what I feel like I'm doing again now, is like even last year, when I stopped spending all that time with Bumbleina, I poured into updating my website, updating my LinkedIn, updating my resume, rewriting my whole kind of narrative about who I am and what I wanted to do going forward. And it worked, because I became an event professional again. But still at the time I was also doing the sound baths. But now what I'm doing in terms of, it's just me and my phone, me and my computer, and wherever I want to go to have fun. And thankfully, all the places I go now, all the ladies are great at getting content and sharing content. So that makes it easy. But I don't have to rely on anybody. I don't have to wait on anybody. I don't have to pour into anybody to get anything myself. And so it's just phenomenal. The only thing I might have to pay is whatever it costs to eat the dinner, or whatever it costs to attend the event. And that's it. And so it's almost effortless on my part as it relates to other people. And so I really get to pour into myself. And also too, I made a video talking about not hiding. Before, I was trying to hide behind Bumbleina, and I've done that many times, hiding behind other people, because of all the things I've already discussed, which, hell, I'm not going to go into it again. Just go back and watch my old videos about hiding. I am so calm and peaceful. My nervous system is so regulated. And my whole house is peaceful. My spirit is peaceful. I am so relaxed, and it is just wonderful. This vlogging process is just, I don't know what it's doing, for me or whatever, but me finally like sharing all this and getting it off my chest and being able to move forward with life and not have any chaotic people, chaotic situations, not like pouring myself into other people. It's just, life is so relaxing and peaceful. I'm having a ball. Not to mention, everything is so organized. My life is so organized. I mean, you should have seen it last year when we would go to vend at places, and like the chaos. I mean, just like stuff not being done and like not organized. It was just, some stuff was organized, don't get me wrong, but I don't even want to like throw anybody under the bus like that. But I just love the organization that I have now and that I have in my life, and the lack of chaos. Everything is planned out, and, hiccups happen. Like I had a plan to go to the jazz club on Sunday, but and I would say that thank God that I looked to see. I was communicating with the ladies that were going to meet me there, and I wanted to make sure that I had all the most up-to-date information. And thank God I did that, because I saw that the flyer said canceled, and it was like, oh shit, because I wasn't even told by the person who invited me that the event was canceled. And so I reached out to confirm, and they were like, yes, it's being postponed. So that was a little bit like, girl, you should have reached out to me to tell me that the event was canceled. So that was kind of like shitty. But at the end of the day, my intuition, because my body is peaceful, my nervous system is regulated, my intuition is doing what it needs to do and guiding me to know the information I needed to know more than a week before the event, and so I could let the ladies know, oh, it's canceled, and then I'm not looking like a flake. You know what I mean? But that's what peace in your life, or peace in my life, has done to me, or done for me, is that I can actually hear my intuition loud and clear and follow it. And so it led me right into perfect alignment and perfect timing, and it worked out perfect because I was already thinking, wow, that's going to be a lot for Sunday. And so I'm looking forward to the downtime. And so I just love the peace I have in my life and the organization. I mean, I know my garage is not organized, but that part is like organized chaos. And the theme from The Godfather keeps playing in my head because I used it in one of my reels for the Mob Museum. And so that's still kind of going with the theme of me being gangsta by telling my story now. And so the theme from The Godfather just keeps playing in my head now, which is cool. And let's just say also, too, I'm so at peace and peaceful because not only am I around organized people and making sure I avoid disorganized people, but the other thing is that I'm organizing myself even better, understanding my needs and what my nervous system needs. And so I am definitely not rushing around, running around, squeezing things in at the last possible minute. Like I'm not doing stuff like that unless I absolutely have to. And so far, I really haven't had to do that. So, I keep a cushion and space in my schedule, and I just make sure that I'm not rushing around and running around. And it's like, it was so chaotic to me, but I didn't recognize it. Like I wasn't conscious of it. I was just doing it. And now in contrast, it's just like, this is what I understand works for my nervous system. And I don't like to be all adrenalized and have adrenaline running through me, doing everything at the last minute. Like I hate that. And I'm so glad that I'm not doing that anymore. Everything is so organized. I think what's coming to my mind is the phrase closed family system. And I feel like because they have such a close-knit family, and they have a kind of a larger close-knit family, it's not super large like hundreds of people or anything like that. I mean, I really don't know, but it's kind of like this kind of small circle, but close-knit, but still large enough to be a little bit diverse. Like there's, I want to say in the immediate family unit, there's 3 sisters and 2 brothers. And then they all have kids. 3 sisters? Yeah. Then they all have kids. Some of them have grandkids. And they all kind of gravitate towards each other and hang out with each other. And so I feel like, and then there's the husband and then all their in-laws. And so it's kind of a closed family system. And I feel like because of that, they don't maybe see their own dysfunction. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe they do. But the reason why I bring it up is because I'm an outsider to that family system. And so there's certain things that I see that are troubling. And the problem is like you all may be wondering, well, why don't you just talk to him about it or say anything? And it's because it's not a safe environment to say anything. It's so dysfunctional that if I say something, I'll be just where I'm at now, banished, abandoned, like I'm out, you know what I mean? Kicked out of the tribe. And so the reason why I feel like vlogging for me is effective is because I can just say it once It can live on the internet forever. And whenever whoever is ready to hear it, they can hear it or they can never hear it. But the reality of it is it's off my chest. And I said what I said, and I can move on. And I no longer have to carry the burden of these things because I'm holding on to everybody's secrets and not saying anything based on what I'm observing. Because, you know, a lot of times I'm thinking, well, I'm working on myself and I don't want to pass judgment on other people's stuff, even though in my mind I see certain things and it's just, you know, like, that's not cool or that's weird or whatever, but I don't say anything. And I spend my life just being quiet that way and trying not to be judgmental, and opinionated and all the things that irritate me. And that's the shadow work, right? Look it up, shadow, Carl Jung, Jung. That's the shadow work because I came from an environment that was very judgmental and opinionated and strongly opinionated, strong and wrong and everything else, but made me feel wrong. And so I just sit back and be quiet and not say anything. So for me, vlogging is the safest way for me to get this out and then move on with my life and be done with it. Like, I would be surprised if I'm still sitting here a year from now talking about these jackasses. I think that this is like a one and done. Like, soon as I get it out and get it all organized and get the stories out and everything, it's like I'm done and I'm moving on. That's what I think. And so, yeah, there's no conversation to have when I'm the outsider to a closed family system that is dysfunctional, in my opinion. Okay, yes, I definitely just looked it up. Closed family system is exactly correct. I'm not going to do a screenshot and post it in the video. Look it up. ChatGPT says a closed family system usually means a family that operates like a sealed unit. The family protects its own image, rules, secrets, and hierarchy more than it protects. Actually, let me just have ChatGPT read the shit out loud. Hold on. Stand by. Read out loud.
A closed family system usually means a family that operates like a sealed unit. The family protects its own image, rules, secrets, and hierarchy more than it protects the emotional truth of individual members. In plain English, we don't talk about family business. We don't challenge the family story. And if you speak up, you become the problem. That's the core. A closed family system often has patterns like 1. Image over truth. The family cares more about how things look than what actually happened. 2.
Facts.
Secrets are protected. People know things, but nobody says anything. Silence becomes loyalty.
Facts.
3. Outsiders are distrusted. Therapy, outside perspectives, new friends, spouses, or anyone who sees the dysfunction may be treated as a threat.
Facts.
4. The family narrative is controlled. There is usually an official story, and anyone who tells a different version gets labeled dramatic, selfish, crazy, bitter, ungrateful, or disloyal.
Thank you.
5. Accountability is avoided. Instead of, what did we do? It becomes, why are you bringing this up? 6. Roles are assigned. One person may be the responsible one the problem child, one the golden one the fixer, one the scapegoat. People get punished when they stop playing their assigned role. 7. Emotional honesty feels dangerous. You can attend the function, smile, laugh, eat the food, take the picture, but telling the truth about what hurt you can get you iced out.
Okay, I had to stop there because Chatty knows my secrets too. And so Chatty is dropping names and I don't want to drop names in the video in what I post publicly. So anyway, but at the same time, if anything that I ever told ChatGPT became public, it would just be, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I want to get doxed or outed in that way. But still, I don't want Chatty to be name dropping the people that I'm talking about because I'm still trying to do my best to protect them while telling my truth. But yeah, closed family system is definitely right. Definitely right. But I really can only say that from the perspective of being the outsider looking in that has only spent time with them from maybe July 2024 to June. Well, I guess the last floating sound bath was September. So let's say September Actually, no, I worked with Bumbleina till November of 2025. So let's just say from July of 2024 to November of 2025. So the reality of it is that I really don't know that for sure, like, because I haven't been in their lives for over 11 years. And so I just had a brief entry and then a brief exit, but it felt like, and it has felt like in the past when I did spend a lot more time with them, like a very close family system. Like they all have each other. So they do not have to expand and grow beyond each other and then, their spouses and things of that nature. So they get to behave in certain ways that is excused by the close family system. I sound pretty intelligent. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's my observation and my interpretation. And then they find other people like Bumbleina's husband who puts up with the nonsense, you know what I mean? And makes it okay. I'm not saying that they're all bad people, because I think that there's many things that are very healthy about them and that are very good, but there are also things that are problematic that they may want to consider getting help to fix. Like all that weed smoking. I mean, come on. So true confession. I mean, all of this is true in confession time, but the reality of it is that even when we broke up, quote unquote, back in 2013, by that time I had done so much spiritual work on myself, so much psychological work on myself, and my whole outlook in life had changed by then. Like I had left my career in accounting and finance by that time. I was long divorced from my ex-husband, and I was pursuing what I thought was my lifelong dream, which was to be a music and an artist. And I was really, besides being broke, that was difficult, but besides being broke, I was happier than I'd ever been in my life. I mean, I was happy like when I did tap dance and stuff like that, but this was like a bliss I had never experienced, because I was really pursuing what I thought I wanted to do, which was to be an artist at the time. And so being around the jackasses, for lack of a better nickname for them at this point in time, was miserable for me, because I was so happy, and it was just like, I can't believe, like, here we are. Because by that time we had been in we had started in the company that we work for together, me and the mother. We had started back in like 2005 or 2006. And by the time 2013 rolled around, that was 7 years later. And it was just like, still, if I recall correctly, even though I was sad that we broke up, I was also kind of happy that we broke up. Even though it was hard, it was definitely challenging and difficult, and I felt horrible, especially all the stuff that Bumbleina said to me. And I felt very exiled, but at the same time, I felt relieved and happy to get rid of them, because they're so miserable. Bumbleina at the time was definitely always talking about white folks and what white folks were doing to you. And it's just like, I had to go through a transformation myself about that whole thing, which is a vlog for another day. But I definitely, back in those days, was of the mind of like, there are good white people in the world and all these other things that I didn't want to hear, like the whole complaining about white folks thing. So when, truth be told, when we broke up in 2013, I was actually happy and relieved to get away from them. And so I thought that when we reconciled in 2024 and 2025, I thought that I noticed a change in them and in Bumbleina, especially as we started vending. And she seemed like, when we were vending, she never complained about what she had going on, especially at work. Like, she would complain about other things and other people, but she definitely didn't spend an inordinate amount of time complaining. Like, I feel like we spent a lot of time sharing ideas and talking about the business. And to me, it was exciting because it's like, yes, look, she's happy. You know what I mean? But in hindsight, I realized that I cannot take on the burdens of other people and their unhappiness. And I cannot be unhappy. Like me being unhappy is not going to make anybody else happy. And so I just really wanted to come on to be transparent and say that even when we broke up in 2013, I was relieved of like, God, let me get away from these miserable motherfuckers. Because I believe that that your happiness is all a mindset, and you have to work on your mindset. And that's another reason why I think they all could benefit from therapy, is because they're in a continuous loop of negativity. And like I said, I thought that I had recognized that Bumbleina had changed, and I feel like she did change some from where she was way back in the day when I was first hanging out with her, but still super duper negative and critical. And like I said, I did notice improvements, but it was definitely hard to be around. And I would come home sometimes and just post subliminals to my stories of like gratitude and happiness and all the things, just trying to like get her out of my system and get her negativity and her negative thoughts out of my system. So I just wanted to be transparent about that as well. Since I'm letting it all out, I might as well let that out too. Okay, and actually let me just continue to read what ChatGPT said about closed family system without revealing any names. It says, so when you say the jackasses feel like a closed family system, what you may be picking up on is the system protects itself from exposure. It may tolerate closeness, jokes, family events, favors, even affection, but it struggles with truth, repair, accountability, and emotional transparency. A healthier, open family system sounds more like, tell me how that affected you. We may remember it differently, but your pain matters. We can talk about hard things without exiling each other. We don't have to protect the family image at the expense of somebody's reality. A closed system says, don't say that. That never happened. You're being dramatic. Why are you trying to hurt the family? You should be over it, after all we've done for you. So yes, based on what you've described, closed family system sounds like a fitting lens. I'd still frame it as a pattern you experience, not as a formal diagnosis of the whole family. The cleanest language would be, I experienced that family as closed, meaning truth was treated like betrayal, silence was treated like loyalty, and accountability was avoided. That's strong, accurate, and doesn't overreach. Food for thought. But moving on. I'm moving on. If y'all want to stay there, but I'm moving on. And just let me live. I'm out here living. Just let me live. And what I said about the weed smoking also applies to the blood cousin as it relates to drinking. I have not seen any pattern of substance usage as it relates to Bumbleina or her husband or children or anything like that, and even the mother. So I don't want to imply that at all. But definitely the blood cousin should give some consideration to the alcohol consumption. Just some consideration, because I haven't spent enough time with her to really know for sure. I have no idea, but I know that she casts a lot of judgment on her family members in all the weed smoking, but I don't think she's actually taking a look at herself and looking at her drinking. So just letting it all out there. I'm not using y'all's names, so nobody knows who I'm talking about except the close circle of family in the closed system. Whew, every time my text message goes off or my phone rings, it's like, oh shit, it's going down. And this time I don't mean it's going up, it's going down. But no, it was everything is radio silent, and it's beautiful. It's wonderful. I swear to God, though, if anybody starts coming for me, it's going in the vlog. Don't even worry about trying to get a response from me, because it's going in the vlog. You leave me any crazy messages, it's going in the vlog. You send me any crazy text messages, it's going in the vlog. You leave me any crazy voicemail messages, what I just said, it's going public. I'm just like the person standing there watching the cops beat somebody's ass with my camera out. So yeah, every time my phone goes off, it's like, whoo. And every time it's not happening and I'm not getting attacked and I can tell my truth, the more truth I want to tell, number one, and the more happy I feel that I'm finally getting all this off my chest and that I can finally express myself. It's so wonderful. And what I also want to say is, even though I am focusing on the jackasses and some of the stuff that I'm saying right now, what I want to say about that is that my focus on them is only temporary. It's getting it off my chest. But really, my work is with myself and focusing on myself. And what I'm doing now with the vlogging and using my creativity and my storytelling and my abilities, this is new for me, but it's also a version of self-expression that I haven't allowed myself to do. And so all the running around and all the stuff that I was doing to avoid myself and be involved in everybody else was that I could avoid all this stuff that clearly needed to be expressed. And so I'm just thankful, and I'm thankful to God and the universe that I'm finally able to express it. And I'm also thankful that if someone has told my mom that I'm saying all this stuff that I'm saying, and my mom is practicing restraint, that actually warms my heart, and I'm thankful for that too. And I do feel emotional as I'm saying that, because it has not been the case in the past where I've been allowed to freely express myself. And I know that my mom is particularly very, very private and doesn't and has always told me to stay off social media, or tried to hint, but I've always not listened to her and did what I wanted to do related to social media, except that I was very protective of her and the family and trying not to reveal my pain and things that I've gone through. And so the fact that my mom, if she knows that I'm out here saying these things and that I'm expressing how I feel and telling my experience, and she's not coming after me and screaming and yelling at me and being abusive towards me, the fact that she's not doing that, I mean, maybe it's because she doesn't want to be exposed, and she doesn't also want me to go in and start telling all her business. So maybe that's why she's practicing restraint. But regardless, I appreciate that she is practicing restraint and just letting me live and letting me tell my story and letting me tell things from my perspective. And this is the first time that I've ever felt liberated enough to do that. And so I'm grateful and I'm happy, and this is a whole new beginning for me. So one thing, I just saw a good Instagram post. There's a lady that I follow. Hold on, let me get her name. Okay, I took a screenshot of her name, her Instagram, and actually, hold on. Anyway, her name is Vasavi Kumar. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, if it's Vasavi. And anyway, I'll put a screenshot in here of her Instagram and in the video that I just watched. And she was talking about the fastest way that you can tell, or the fastest way you can tell who's in your corner or something like that is how they react or how they behave when you share a win with them. And so I want to just say that in my experience with Bumbleina, for the most part, if I can remember, and my spirit will correct me if I'm wrong, which is why I'm pausing, but for the most part, I didn't feel any kind of jealous vibe or energy from Bumbleina. I mean, and I didn't have jealousy of her. Like, I felt like just so happy to see her winning, at least, successful in her career and all that stuff. And so I was very happy for that. And I don't think that we had a jealousy or competitive energy between us. I feel like the other things that I've explained or talked about were more of the issues, but in terms of like hateration, I didn't feel like I received hateration from her. Definitely that "so do you feel cleansed" type of comment in the sarcastic snide way. I definitely felt that. And then there were times where I felt criticized by her, but I didn't feel like that was coming from jealousy per se. That's just be coming from her own insecurities and her own critical nature. But I didn't feel like she was putting me down necessarily to make herself feel better. Although I think I've seen her possibly put other people down to make herself feel better, but I didn't feel like she was putting me down ever to just like because she was having a bad day and wanted to make herself feel better. And I also don't feel like I've genuinely felt like, for example, when I shared with her that the company reached out to me that I really wanted to work for an event, and I shared that with her, I felt like she was genuinely happy for me and that she actually let me work both the corporate job and the events at the same time. Like, she was very reasonable when it came to that. So I just wanted to say that I don't think that I felt hater energy from her. Like, I didn't feel supported on social media from her, but I don't know that she's that active on social media. So it's not like, I got a lot of social media support. I didn't get a lot of praise either. So I'll put it that way. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I did that didn't receive a lot of praise or thanks. But I don't feel like there was any hateration or jealousy. The blood cousin for sure, yes, but not from Bumbleina. So what my spirit is calling me to say is that even though I don't think that I experienced a jealous vibe or energy from Bumbleina, what I do think would trouble me or bother me is as much effort as I put into a lot of things as it relates to our businesses, both of them, I received very, very little praise and appreciation, I feel. Quick to criticize, but not very, very long on praise. And I thrive off of praise, and so maybe it's just something that I notice more, that she's not very heavy on the praise and appreciation side, and I'm very heavy into that. That might be one of my love languages. And then also too, as much as I poured into social media, almost no social media support, no engagement, no comments, no reposting, no nothing. And it's been that way from the beginning. And like I said, I don't know if it's just because she's not that active on social media. But I do see her bubbles pop up on like Black Girl Vitamins. So I know she does some stuff on social media. And so that was annoying. Like, I didn't like that. It's like, I like people who support on social media, and I know social media really wasn't her vibe or her thing, which is another sign of incompatibility. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify what I was saying about that. Is the lack of social media support was annoying, and whatever reason the social media support is not there, I don't know, but the lack of it, annoying, irritating. So also too, with that, "so do you feel cleansed," nice nasty comment, what's also annoying is knowing that you've seen the shit that I do on social media and you still don't engage or support. That's also fucking annoying. And her blood sister, or my blood cousin, who is her sister, is the same way. And I don't like that shit. Like, you see it, you had the time to see it, but then you act like a hater and don't support by just giving a like or a kind comment. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking hate that. That's annoying as fuck. So in a way, to me, that is haterish kind of behavior. So I'm listening back to what I recorded today and posted today, and it's just so amazing. But I swear to God, the whole time I'm listening to it, my head is going like imagining what the Jackass Committee could be thinking about what I'm saying. Like, on the one hand, I'm super proud of myself and so in love with myself for saying what I have to say. And on the other hand, it's just my imagination running wild of the Jackass Committee going crazy and talking about how crazy I am and talking about me and everything. And I just have to let that tape play, and every day that nothing happens and that I'm still standing and I'm still alive and everything else, that soothes and comforts the little girl in me, to let us know and let me know and let her know that it's okay, that I got her now. Because the only thing y'all can do pretty much is come and actually physically harm me to shut me up at this point, because this is how liberating this process is. And no matter what you try to do to me, I think unless you do something physically to hurt me and prevent me from vlogging, I don't think I'm here to stop until I'm done telling my stories, because this is highly, highly, highly cleansing. Thank you. Thank you very much. So just now, I was on my other phone while I was cleaning off this current phone. And I think, what was I doing? I might have been watching something or scrolling social media or something like that. And all of a sudden, my Ring notification jumped up on my phone, and there was a person at the door. And my heart just started beating out of my chest, because it was like, oh shit, the flying monkeys are at the door. I'm just going to call them flying monkeys. But it was just kind of the panic in me of being so terrified of these people and how they might behave based on what I've said, that my mind, the little girl in me, makes up almost irrational stories, because it has been so nerve-wracking and terrifying. And the tremendous amount of anxiety, that level of fear, is based on trauma. And so thank God it was just the Amazon guy. And thank God I have a Ring doorbell so I could see who was at the door. But it just really momentarily, I had a moment of panic and freaking out, because that's how long I've lived in terror. And that's how liberating it is to finally say all this stuff that I'm saying. I fell asleep listening to, and going in and out of sleep listening to, Dr. Carrie McAvoy on YouTube. The other day when I was at the Mob Museum with the OG aunties, my lady friends, my sisters, they were all talking about The Polygamist, and then someone was talking about Nemesis as well. And I think there are two shows, maybe either on Netflix or some streaming platform. And I was kind of quiet, just listening. And then somebody shouted out and said, "Hey, Nicole, do you watch TV?" And I was like, "No, not really." And then I said that someone else had mentioned Nemesis, and I tried to watch it, and I fell asleep while watching it, which is the truth. Like, I don't really, I don't know. I did watch something on Netflix the other day. It was, I think it was called The Crash or something like that. It's where, what was her name? Anyway, there was a young girl who was driving a car and crashed the car and killed her boyfriend and another young man. And the whole documentary I thought was good and interesting. And so sometimes it's just hard for me to watch fictional content for some reason. I'm much more like nonfiction. And so sometimes I find it hard for certain things to grab my interest. And so I did fall asleep during Nemesis. Plus, I really don't like too much gun violence and stuff like that. And, also too, I feel a little bit like some of these shows and some of the stuff that gets put out there actually messes with our minds in terms of programming. You know what I mean? Like, it's programming our minds. And so some of the things that are not necessarily positive and uplifting, I'm kind of not too much into. Or healing, or, involve self-examination. Although I watch silly stuff, so don't get me wrong. Like, I like sometimes watching a couple people on YouTube that do van life kind of content. And I don't know, I just enjoy that. And maybe that's also how I got into vlogging, and is watching them. But anyway, so I said no, I don't really watch TV too much, and I fell asleep. And it was hard for me to say that because they were so into it and talking about, and I definitely don't want to watch The Polygamist. Like, so actually, what happened is the other day, I after they said that and everything, and I had kept seeing things on social media talking about The Polygamist, I was like, okay, yeah, all right, let me see what it's about, right? So I turned it on for like 2 minutes, and the opening scene was some guy having sex and doing something. I was like, not interested. I was like, I'm not watching this shit. I was like, okay, I'm just going to try to watch it to see if I could be a part of a conversation. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not watching this because I'm not interested in watching that. And so it's like, if you require me to fit in by watching some of these stupid ass TV shows that I'm not interested in, then I guess we're just not a match, So anyways, the point is that what I really wanted to say is that I just was listening to, off and on as I doze in and out of sleep, Dr. Carrie McAvoy, and I will make a screenshot of it because I don't want to, repost other people's content and mess up my monetization potential. But she was talking about, let me go get the topic of the title of the video. It's called The Truth About Narcissistic Mothers. And man, it was really, really good. So I'm going to listen to some more of her content. I also like watching things that I could listen to while doing other tasks, as opposed to something where I have to actually fixate on the screen and watch. But it just depends, because I really did like that documentary. Let me find out the name of the person who crashed the car. Hold on. Okay, her name was Mackenzie Shirilla, apparently. And that I did find interesting. Not only did I find it interesting, but I actually, after I watched the documentary, I wanted to know more. And so I actually went and did some internet searching to learn more information. So it's not that I don't watch any television. It's just that kind of stuff in the popular media, it doesn't seem to attract my attention. But anyway, the video from Dr. Carrie McAvoy, The Truth About Narcissistic Mothers, was phenomenal. That was excellent. And I'm going to watch some more of her content, or listen to some more of her content, because I really like that. And that really resonated with me, because I don't want to really keep dwelling on the past. I want to know how the fuck to fix it. And so I don't keep making the same mistakes and repeating the same patterns in my life. That's really the point of what I'm trying to do. So it was an excellent video. If any of you have challenges in this area, I definitely recommend that video. And I will post a screenshot of it so that you can go and do your internet detective work and find it. Also, I want to report that I'm excited. I just saw that Paint with Angelique has some upcoming paint events that I will be interested in. I'm already attending Anicia's, a couple of Anicia's events coming up in July, and I'm excited about Angelique's painting events. At first, I was thinking that I would get bored of going to so many paint events, but so far I actually seem to be enjoying it as long as there's variety in it and we're not painting the same things. And I guess I'm realizing that I am doing what the Artist Way says about doing artist dates. And it's a relatively inexpensive way to go out and enjoy myself. And it's like, I get to be social, but I don't have to just sit and talk to somebody. Like when people are painting, sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't, and we get to be within ourselves, but we also get to be with others. And so I really enjoy that. And so Angelique has a couple events that look interesting to me. And I know Anicia does as well. So I'm getting July booked up. It's wonderful. But I'm also making sure that I have space and time for rest and relaxation and some me time. So, anywho, I'm getting hot. See, I'm sweating. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Today is Wednesday. Happy July 1st. And it's interesting that Independence Day is coming up because I feel like on June 19th, what I recorded was liberating and was about freedom. And everything I'm doing now is also about independence and freedom. But I just wanted to come on real quick to clarify, because yesterday I feel like I sounded a little ridiculous when I was saying, oh, my mom is just about control, and it's a way to exercise control the way that she does help me, because it's all, but I wanted to clarify that what I meant by that is that it's all piecemeal. It's all like, I'll help you, but I'm only going to pay for stuff that I agree you should be doing, or something like that. And it does sound like very selfish and spoiled for me to even say something like, she wouldn't just give me $100,000 and let me spend it how I want to. That sounds very selfish and spoiled. Like a grown-ass woman saying that about her parent or her mother. And that does sound extremely selfish and spoiled. But at the same time, that's how I felt. And I have definitely felt like it's almost unforgiveness for the money grabs that I feel that she has done over time, in terms of taking stuff that doesn't belong to her and never was intended for her. My dad had diamonds that my mom took, and to this day, she will not give me those diamonds, for example. My mom, and granted, she has been paying the mortgage and doing all that stuff, but my mom has in her name my dad's condo, and she has paid the property taxes, the HOA fees, and done everything to continue to maintain the property. So like I said before, even about the property that I'm an heir to and have a share in, both of those properties, she has done everything as it relates to keeping those properties up and maintaining them and blah, blah, blah. And it makes sense because she's in real estate, and she's been in real estate since I've been a little kid. And so it makes sense that she's done it, but she doesn't just take this stuff and just say, here, Nicole, this does not belong to me. It belongs to you. I've taken care of it for you. Here, you can have it. It's not mine to. But like I said, she has now done so much for me that it way outweighs anything that my dad would have left for me. Um, but I guess I have mixed feelings that are spoiled and potentially very immature, um, and some unforgiveness and bitterness about it. Like, what would my life have looked like if, when at the time my dad died, I had access to all the things that he left for me? You know what I mean? And so I do have anger and bitterness about that, and maybe that's why it's difficult for me to just let go and stop even expecting anything from her. But yeah, I'm still in a place where it's like, girl, my savings is running out and I need some money. You know what I mean? And so I'm just definitely hoping, because like I said, there have been long, long periods of time where I have been financially independent and not needed jack shit from her. It's only after 2005. Okay, so let me just go back to the therapist that I was telling you about in my vlog yesterday, or maybe earlier in this vlog, about the therapist who said I was very naive. And as I worked with that therapist, I started opening my throat chakra, so to speak, and I started speaking up more and being much more of an advocate for myself and everything else. And through that process, I started reconnecting with some of the family that my mother kept me away from for my whole entire life, or my my whole entire adult life, or not just adult life, but even as a child. Like, she stopped taking me around those family members. And I started speaking up with people at work that I was having issues with, and started speaking up to the beast, and just started being more of an advocate for myself as I was going through therapy. And by the time I got to 2005, I received a letter from one of those family members. I'm not going to tell y'all what the letter said unless the beast starts messing with me. But what was revealed was life-changing, because it was like I found out something that was, it was like at one point devastating, but at the same time of just like, oh my God, my whole life I've been living a lie, in terms of, or been told a lie, and in terms of thinking the beast is perfect, and that trying to live up to that image, and learning and realizing how imperfect the beast is and was. And that's why I also think I have some unforgiveness and bitterness about you, Omi, because before that 2005 pivotal receipt of the letter, I was living my life for her in terms of her demands, what I thought she would be proud of, and all the things. And so basically, when I quit my job in accounting and finance, and ultimately quit again in 2009, finally, and went to become an artist, it was the start of me actually, I feel like, reliving my childhood that I never had for myself, because I feel like my childhood was basically my mom making me live the childhood that she never had, or giving me the childhood she never had. But the choices that I made in terms of what I chose in college as a degree and all the things was directed by her controlling helicopter parenting and all the things. And the thing is that at the end of the day, my higher self knows that everything works out the way it should. And at this point in my life, at 57, I can look back and see how much that accounting and finance career helped me and shaped me, and how much I learned from it. But throughout time, there's been some resentment and unforgiveness in the fact that my mom was telling huge, big lies for the entirety of my life up until she got outed in 2005. And so I think that ultimately there's a part of me that feels justified in saying, you owe me, because now I'm trying to really live my life on my own terms and in my own way. And maybe it's wrong for me to feel that way, but I just wanted to maybe give a little bit of that clarification. I wasn't crying. My face is sweating because it's hot. Just wanted to give a little bit more explanation, and even like kind of explain it to myself of why I feel the way that I feel in terms of being justified, in terms of feeling like now I'm trying to live my life on my own terms, but I've had to start all over and live the life that I should have lived from the beginning, from the day I was fucking born. So I'm going to pause there and think about what I said, because my spirit will tell me if I need to clarify or add more. And I'm about to start journaling. Not only that, around 2018 or 2019, I received another out of the blue email with more devastating news of the lies and secrets that the beast had been keeping. And again, I'm not going to say what it is, but with the family members that I reconnected with, I'm friends with all of them on Facebook, all of them. And what I'm really also saying is that if you try to maliciously do anything to me to start a smear campaign based on what I'm saying, then I will connect with all those people that you're ashamed of, and we can get together and do a video and talk about what you've done that you don't want anybody to know. Trying to be out there living like you're fucking perfect and you're not. And so all I'm saying is just let me live and let me tell my side of the story and tell my stories. I'll do my best to stay protective, but don't come for me and don't mess with me. I'm telling my story. And so the fact of the matter is that some of what seems like spoiled behavior is actually, I feel like, retribution and reparations for the childhood that I lost, because I grew up with a narcissistic parent who was basically trying to live their childhood over again through me. And I'm not saying that I suffered materially, but it's all been about control, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse. And it's time for me to tell at least those parts of the story without revealing the source of the beast's shame. It's time for me to stand up for myself. I'm no longer a kid. And unless y'all come and do something to me physically, there's nothing you can stop me from saying what I have to say. The beast maintains a holier than thou, perfectionistic image, an angel image. And it's actually surprising to me that all of us are continuing to help maintain her source of shame and her secret. But I cannot, at this moment in time, betray that, because she made some mistakes, and I guess I have forgiveness in my heart for those mistakes. But like I said, if you start messing with me, start a smear campaign, do anything malicious to me, then If you show that you don't give a fuck about me, then I have nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing. So, whew, that's all heavy, very heavy. And the point is, this is to say this directly to the beast. If the beast ever comes upon my channel and my videos, you're old. And the fact of the matter is that you have done a lot of nice things and you have gotten better over the years in the way you've treated me. And you did actually come through and help when I've needed help. And over time, you've become more understanding and more free-hearted with your pockets in terms of sharing what you have with me, and in helping me when I need help. You know, sometimes I wish I didn't have to beg for it, but I do acknowledge that you have gotten better over time. And so as long as you don't regress and go back to your old habits and your old ways of being, then I feel like you're old and I'm just going to let you live and not tell you or not tell anyone about what you've done. I mean, once you pass away, then it's like it doesn't matter then, because it's over if you happen to pass before I do. But until, you know, as long as you're here on this earth, at this moment in time, if you continue on your good behavior and you continue to be the support that you have been, and even at the level you have been or better, then I just cannot see myself doing anything to hurt you like that. And so, as long as you let me live, because I'm letting you live, and let me live and tell my stories without attacking me and terrifying me and all the things and doing a smear campaign, then we can just stay cool, you know, stay cool. As you say and have been saying in your text messages lately, peace and love. Let me also just say that even though 4th of July was a big holiday for us growing up as kids, and I even have, when we were in dance school, we did a whole big tap dance number in outfits that were, you know, red, white, and blue. And I was very, very unconscious as it relates to Black history and all the stuff that they've hidden from us. And I went through a whole militant phase around 2012. And for a long time, too, like a really militant phase, after I started watching people like Phil Valentine, Tariq Nasheed, you know, the whole Hotep community. And then, and I really love Sarah Sutanseti. Like, he helped me get in touch with my own inner fire. And so I went through a whole phase of being extremely like militant, but then I just realized that there's just, at this moment in time, there doesn't seem to be a way to live a life in a world that is where we don't all have to work together. And I could be completely wrong. And that's also why I very much applaud and appreciate what my baby cousin is doing, because she is out there. She is out loud about her feelings and about supporting women of color and Black women. And she is very, very outspoken. And I do appreciate that about her, and that she unapologetically focuses on Black women and BIPOC women exclusively, and I admire that. But she's also a whole different generation than I am. I mean, I used to babysit her when she was a little girl and I was in college. Um, and so my point in saying that is that I went through a whole militant phase of, like, do for self and everything else. Like, I went through my own internal Black Panther movement, but then I just got to the point of capitulating and just feeling like tired. Like, I guess in my lifetime, in my lifetime, I don't see us winning in a way that is exclusive to just us. Like, I felt like we have to also include other people and work with other people. And that's because I also went through a whole phase of trying to do the kind of more Black only thing and Black owned businesses and everything else. And then you start realizing that at the end of the day, we don't really own a whole bunch of shit, right? Like, we don't. And, even if there are Black, I even tried to, switch over and support, more Black owned stuff and Black owned businesses and all the things, and just realized that I wasn't willing to give up some of the conveniences. Like, I'm not willing to give up the convenience of Amazon, you know what I mean? And being able to find whatever the hell I want and having it arrive at my doorstep the next day. I'm not willing to give up the convenience of and the pricing of Shein, you know what I mean? And unless and until we have more robust infrastructure and systems, I don't see it in my lifetime, and therefore, I just can't do the all exclusive Black thing. Although I would say that I love being intentional about supporting Black owned businesses whenever it is possible, and being about Black people. But we're also just not unified enough. You know what I mean? Like, everybody is not a monolith, and it's understandable, but we all think different. We all have, different things that we're going for, and it's not organized. And so, anyway, I got off on a tangent. So let me figure out what the hell I was talking about. Oh my God, I totally went off on a tangent, but I said all that to say that I really am conscious of the fact that we were not free in 1776, and so the 4th of July is a bullshit-ass holiday. But I'll take the holiday anyway, but I'm not big on, celebrating Independence Day and this basic white holiday. But I'll take the day off if I'm working and they give me the day off. But I'm very, very conscious of the fact that the 4th of July is not really our holiday. I went around the world with that one, didn't I? I was like, damn, Nicole, what the hell are you talking about? Anyway, if I remember, I will get a picture of me in my my dance school, so you could see us unconscious as hell doing 4th of July performance. We were in a dance school that was run by white people, even though there were quite a few other Black students in the dance school, and we were doing all kind of stuff that was like, if anybody was really conscious, like there was a minstrel dance that we did, and they even turned the lights out, and it almost looked like blackface. You know what I mean? And it's just like, how in the fuck was that even appropriate? You know what I mean? But my parents did not teach me anything as it relates to anything militant. I didn't grow up with anything like that. So I was very, very on the track and the path of assimilation. The only thing that really saved me was music, because my dad would take me to the record store every Tuesday to get the albums that I wanted. And when I went to elementary school and it was mostly white, even though there were some black kids and other ethnicities there. It was diverse, but it was mostly white, and all the teachers I had were white except for my third grade teacher. And then when I went to junior high, man, I went to an all-black junior high, and it was a Catholic school around the corner from where we lived in my neighborhood. And they were like, "You don't cuss." Like they thought we were so whitewashed. And so that changed me quite a bit, is that I was around a lot more black kids, and became a tiny bit more conscious. But still, even then when I went to high school, it was much more diverse, and it was in a affluent area, affluent high school. And most of the teachers were white, and these were the kind of the uppity Negroes in my school, although there were still some people who were down to earth. And so we spent a lot of time hanging out on Foothill Boulevard, which I forget what we used to call it. I think we used to call it the Strip, and hanging out with the more ghetto niggas, so to speak. And so there was parts that still kept me grounded in the streets and that kind of a thing. So I didn't become too assimilated. But the point is that I'm going to find that picture from dance school and show you how I was living a coon life when I was little. So with that said, shout out to me. You can see a whole bunch of pictures of me and growing up and everything. It's on my website, www.nicoledford.com. You can also check me out on social media at Nicole D. Ford Vegas on all platforms. So let me just add that in terms of money grabbing, a lot of members of my family money grabbed as it relates to my dad, as well as relates to my uncle. Both of them had a lot of money, and I would just say that their brothers and sisters also benefited tremendously from the money that my dad and my uncle had, and also exercised control over their money and their assets as well. Like even the property that I was talking about, that currently all the third and fourth generation children, depending on where they are in our family tree, have a share. But really, well, the thing is even as I say that, the thing is that my dad and my uncle both were so generous as it relates to the whole family, and wanted to take care of the whole family. Like I literally remember my dad and my uncle, one of my dad's older brothers, talking to me saying, "I want to make sure that you take care of the third generation," because that's how much they cared about the whole entire family. So in some ways I can't be bitter, but in some ways, I had one of my dad's sisters, my aunt, before she kind of succumbed to Alzheimer's or dementia. She used to always be mad at her other sisters, saying that they stole from my dad. And the thing is that I went out and carved a whole life for myself and a career for myself, and I made so much money that my point of view was just like, you know what? I don't want to argue with y'all about money. Like I can go out and I can make money, so I don't want to argue with anybody about money. And it used to cause me so much pain that I was so blessed to have so much money growing up, but that the other people in the family and the rest of the family were always fighting about money. And the same thing, like when my grandmother died way back in the 70s, you know, people arguing and fighting over somebody took Granny's fur coat, you know what I mean? And it used to cause me so much pain to see their unhappiness when it came to arguing and fighting about money. And it was like, here, you guys can have it. Like, I don't want to fight about money. I just want to be about love. But after I went through my phase of drumming in the street and being broke, it was like, wait a minute, Nicole, that shit's not a good idea. You need some fucking money. And so, anyways, I don't have that kind of fuck money spirit anymore, but I had it after my accounting career. And when I quit that and became a musician, I was like a hippie in the streets. Like, I was just like, I'm happier than I've ever been, finally doing what I want to do and living out my own version of childhood. But, you know, reality hits and it's just like, this shit is for the birds. I need to go back to making some money here. So anyways, I'm definitely happy that I found a happy marriage in both my left and right brains working in events. And I'm very, very happy that my trajectory in the events world is going exactly where I wanted to go in terms of making a decent living that will sustain my lifestyle and help me pay my bills. It's not going to necessarily make me a millionaire or a billionaire, but it's enough for me to be able to be independent and take care of myself. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But yeah, if you're watching this and you know that you or your parents stole from my father, and you want to make reparations, my Cash App is in my link tree. So just go to my link tree, pull up my Cash App, and send me some money. It's easy. My Zelle is on my phone number. So if you want to Zelle me, just ask me for my phone number. Reparations. I love it. If you stole, it's time to make reparations. Because I need it. Also, too, all y'all that are family, y'all all know my address because it's all in the in the paperwork we've been receiving from the attorneys about the estate. So, yeah, you can write me a check anytime, a legitimate check, and I will go to the bank and deposit it. So if you stole, it's time for reparations and to pay back. Because that was fucked up, and you know it. So I realized that in one of my videos, I don't remember which one where I first mentioned it, but I realized that I haven't really elaborated on the whole situation or story where I was talking about my ex-husband and the fact that he was gone, and he was supposed to be over the road driving, and he was actually here cheating on me. And by the time he told me and signed the divorce papers in January of 2010, and he revealed that he had been cheating on me and had X number of month old baby, which I don't remember how old, and then he had one on the way. Like, I thought it was funny because I was so in love with somebody else by that time. This person that I was in love with, I had met in the early part of 2009, and he started flirting with me, and I just was like enamored with him because he was so cute to me and so handsome, and I was so attracted to him, and then he was funny, and he was and of course, you know, we were both into music, and just like, and he was so attentive and so sweet and so kind, and I just really was like smitten. I was smitten. But the problem was that he was an alcoholic, and needless to say, I was still married, and I didn't act on any of the feelings that I had as it relates to him. Although I love the attention, but I didn't act on any of the feelings I had. And then on top of that, he was also married, and I I was like, even though I really, really like this guy and I really am madly in love with him, I cannot go there if he's married and I'm still married. Although my relationship was really over as it relates to my husband, because he never came home. And so, like, I don't think I saw him at all in 2009 until 2010 when he came to sign the papers. And I met this guy that I'm talking about in 2009. So, anyways, the bottom line is the day that and so in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, you know what, this is destined by God, and I met this guy, and he's giving me so much attention. He's making me feel so good about myself. And that's actually when I started being more girly and dressing up and feminine, because he made me feel so beautiful. Like, he called me beauty cutie, and would say, just, he made me feel beautiful. And so fast forward to January 2010. And so not only did he make me feel so beautiful, but he also made me feel very comfortable with the idea of, like, I need to divorce this nigga because I want to be with this guy. And so I guess I need to make up a name for him. Maybe the name that came in my head is Tito. Anyway, I'm not going to call him Tito, though, because then you guys will get confused when I start talking about a Tito, which is a totally different guy. And that guy I didn't have any kind of relationship with. So I'll have to come up with another name. Maybe Teddy. Yeah, Teddy. So I was totally smitten with Teddy. And so I was definitely motivated to get these divorce papers signed, because I thought in my mind that me and Teddy were going to be together. It's just a matter of time. I need to get divorced. He needs to get divorced, and we'll be all set. So January 2010 rolls around, and the ex-husband finally comes and says he's going to sign the papers. He signs the papers, and then that's later that day, the same day he signed the papers, and I went and filed the papers. That's when I got the text message that he revealed that he'd been cheating, and it was like, I don't care, I'm in love with Teddy. I didn't tell him that, but that's what my mind was thinking. But needless to say, things did not go as planned with Teddy, because I swear to God, within 3 months of those divorce papers signed, everything fell apart, and he ended up getting a gig going to Japan to be in a show. At least that's what was supposed to happen. But like I said, he was also an alcoholic, and he blew his opportunity to actually go to Japan, and ended up moving back to his original home country where he came from. So needless to say, things didn't work out with Teddy. And so that year was a hard year for me, 2010, because it shattered all my dreams, because I also thought that I wanted to be a singer for this guy. And we were rehearsing as an R&B group. And I was scared, but I finally sang solo and did some improv in the studio. And I thought that 2010, in the early part of 2010, I thought I was going to be a singer and I was going to be with Teddy. And God showed me that those were not in the cards at all. And so those are all stories for another day to tell you how I got from 2010 to today. But I just wanted to update you that things did not work out with Teddy. But by the time I got to 2012, there's another dude that I met in dance class that was flirting with me, and he also made me feel like a sexy motherfucker. I mean, oh my God. And I also had to practice restraint, as it relates to him, because he was also married. And at one point in time, we were sitting in the car together, and because he needed a ride, I don't think he was an alcoholic, but also a bum ass nigga, right? Asking for a ride. Because I think he had gotten his license suspended or something happened, I don't know. And it was Valentine's Day, and I had attended one of his classes, and he was like, give me a kiss. And I was like, I just leaned my cheek over and let him give me a kiss on the cheek. And I was in love. I was like, man, this is the finest nigga that I've ever seen. And so, anyway, point is that things didn't work out in that with that nigga either. And of course, also married. And so I am proud of myself that I received so much attention from two guys that I thought were I was so attracted to them, but they were also married. And I'm so proud of myself that I practiced restraint, because it was like the best I ever felt as it relates to, well, no, actually, the boyfriend I had before my husband was also super fine. He's not now, but he was back then. And I mean, have you seen Christopher Williams? This guy was like a mix, like my ex-boyfriend before my husband, or the guy who eventually became my husband. He was like a mix between, like, I would say Albie Shore, Christopher Williams, and I don't know who else. At least like that was who was popular at the time. Super fine. And yeah, that was a tumultuous relationship. And we definitely got high together and all the things. And so anyway, those are all stories for another day. And I just wanted to update you all on what happened with the guy that I said I was madly in love with when I was telling the stories about getting divorced. And so really, when I look at life and life happening for you and not to you, basically Teddy came into my life to help push me out of the relationship with my ex-husband, because I had been with him for so long. Because by the time we got to 2007 or 2008, 2009, we had been together for 20 years, because we met in 1989. And so we had been together for that long. And okay, I'm not going to tell that part yet. I'm not ready to tell that part, because my husband would be like, see, I knew it, but I never cheated on my husband, ever. Never. But there were some people that I definitely had attraction to during my relationship with him, because, well, anyway, let me just move on and go back to journaling before I just start telling too much. So let me just say that I think I might be a sucker for an accent, because Teddy had an accent, and then the Give Me a Kiss guy in 2012 had an accent. And the boyfriend that I ended up getting with in 2014, he also had an accent. So all three of them from foreign countries. And so I would say that I have a soft spot for the accent thing. I think it's sexy, I think, and cute and funny. And so, because they all got me. Well, the 2012 guy got me from just being like super handsome and sexy and fly and all the things. But 2009 and 2014 boyfriend, those two really got me with humor. And although the 2009 guy was also super fine, and the 2014 guy, super talented, but also alcoholic. So those are all stories for another day. I should also clarify that there were some pretty super fine guys that have been attracted to me and flirting with me. Like when I was in maybe junior high, or going out of elementary school to junior high, there used to be this super fine guy I mean, back in those days, we were all into the, light skin, curly hair kind of guys. And this guy was so fine and very, very much coming after me when we were in the summertime going to the pool. And I was so like smitten with him, but also I had such shyness as it relates to guys. And then when I was in junior high, there was another guy that I thought was so cute, and he was like, I don't even want to call him my boyfriend, but he was kind of like my boyfriend for a half a second. You know what I mean? And he was super cute too. So sometimes the guys that would get me also is because they had pretty eyes. And so that's another one. And then if you have a pretty smile, oh my God. But I'm saying it like I'm interested in men, and because I don't have a libido, I'm just not anymore. But those were the days. Those were the days. And there were also, but I also in high school dated a guy that was not very attractive, but full of super confidence, like very, very confident. And even though I had a lot of attention from guys, I had such shyness and such body shame and such low self-esteem as it relates to my body because I was taller and bigger than everybody. Not fat, but bigger. And all the stuff that my mom messed with my head about my body and my looks and everything. But yeah, one day I'll have to do a vlog and just kind of go in and talk about my history with my body, with men and all that. So, and what's even funny is that some of those same guys I'm also still Facebook friends with. It's just like Facebook is interesting because it'll connect you with people and you're like, long gone, and it's so weird to still be connected to some of these people and have that history. But I also make it sound like I actually dated a lot of people, which I really haven't dated a lot of people. I just had a lot of guys that were interested in me. And yeah, anyway, I'm derailing the whole conversation. Is going to fuck up the vlog because I'm going to be so off topic. So let me just shut up. Okay, I don't feel like going back and listening to what I recorded already. I will go back and listen to it when I compile the whole video. But I just want to say that with Teddy, what happened is that he ended up getting an opportunity to go overseas to do a show. And he basically left, or I thought that he left, to go do the show. And that's how I lost touch with him. But then I later found out that he didn't, like, somehow he missed going to training to go do the show and got kicked out of the show because of his alcoholism again. And he ended up going back to his home country. So I'm not sure if I said that already, but I just wanted to close the loop on that. And then I don't remember if there's anything else. So I'm going to go meditate now. And then I think I'm going to stop the video here. Well, actually, when I meditate, some other things may come to me, but I'm going to hopefully stop the video here or soon because I have a feeling that all this is going to turn into an hour-long worth of content. So, yeah, this might be the end of this particular vlog. So, if you run up on my content and you like what I have to share, you're enjoying my videos, etc., you definitely can hit me up on Cash App too. It's go to my link in bio and go to my link tree, and my Cash App is on there. I think it says Blessed Nicole D. Ford or something like that. And if you're really serious and you want to Zelle me, I'll send you my number. So DM me on YouTube or reach out to me via my website. My email address or my contact form is on there. So yeah, I appreciate all donations so I can keep this up and keep this going. Links in bio. All right, anyway, I'm being silly. So when I started vlogging last year, it was around this time. Specifically, it was July 5th of 2025. And when I first started vlogging, I received a couple phone calls, unwanted, unwelcomed phone calls that I didn't ask for. And what's interesting or funny about that, funny, not funny, is that I had actually been saying in a lot of what I was posting that I did not like to talk on the phone. And here comes a couple family members fucking calling me. And it's like, you motherfuckers don't know how to listen, because I just said a million goddamn times that I do not like talking on the phone. I haven't even talked to you motherfuckers in years. And now here you see me on the internet vlogging, and now you want to talk and call me. And so I ignored their phone calls and told them that I was not in the space to talk at that time. And one of them, I actually called a flying monkey on my social media because I felt like she was calling, trying to be a flying monkey, because she didn't like what I had posted on one of my posts where I was vlogging. So needless to say, I thought, well, you know what? I've probably ruined the relationship with these two people because I didn't want to talk on the phone. And what I said in my vlogs, and I didn't say anything that was horrible about them. I was just pissed that they called when I just got through saying so many goddamn times that I don't like talking on the phone. And it's like, you assholes don't listen, you know? And so anyway, needless to say, we're back and we're cool. We're in the group chat, the family group chat together, and all is well. So, the reason why I'm bringing that up is that, you know, I am posting some deep, deep truths about my experience, and some of y'all might be triggered. And if you're triggered, it's understandable. But if you're triggered and you think you're going to pick up the phone to call me to do anything, I'm not talking right now to none of y'all, because now I'm talking to the camera. I'm not talking and having a conversation with any of y'all. This is my turn and my time and my story. And to the beast, if the beast, you call and want to talk and start blowing up my phone, right now I'm not talking to you either. The only way I'll talk to any of y'all is if there is an actual emergency, like a medical emergency or something like that. But right now, it's not time for conversation, two-way conversation between me and y'all. So don't send your flying monkeys after me trying to call just to see how you doing and bullshit. Like, now is not the time. And so I will try to remember to look up flying monkeys so y'all know what I'm talking about when I talk about flying monkeys. Because right now, this is cleansing for me, and I get to finally speak my mind, and it's working. I have so much peace in my life right now. I'm calm, I'm regulated. Everything is wonderful. And I did actually decide to go to the 4th of July thing. But I don't like telling where I'm going before I go. So you'll see where I go on 4th of July. But anyway, if you want to call you want to talk, or you have something that you have to say, you could send me a text message. You could send me a voice note. I prefer you not to call me at all, but if you need to call and leave a voicemail, you can leave a voicemail, but I will not be picking up. And if you say anything crazy to me, that's what I deem as bad behavior, is going up on the internet. It's going right in my blog. So y'all cannot intimidate me anymore with your abusive behavior and your flying monkey behavior. And that's definitely true for the beast. And if you call, I'm not picking up. And if you have an emergency, you better text me and let me know you have an emergency and that I need to call you. But you need to tell me what the emergency is and why there's a sense of urgency that I need to talk to you right now. Because otherwise, I'm only talking to the camera and to my sisters and people who now are getting to know me and accept me for who I am. Not all you people who expect me to continue to play the role in the dysfunctional family and the good girl image and the quiet image that you had of me, because that's no more. So don't fucking call me is the point. Don't call me. Just leave me alone. So right now I'm about an hour into listening to the content of yesterday and today that I'm going to be posting. It's 2 hours. It's actually 2.5 hours, just about. But I just wanted to show the painting that I'm going to be getting into now. So let me flip the camera. Yes, and this painting is from Anicia, who is the owner of Girls Night In. And can you believe that she was having a sale? And this was way back, because I just checked my emails, because, I'm good at keeping receipts, right? I don't be deleting nothing. I do delete some stuff. I shouldn't say that. But yeah, I ordered that canvas way back on July 21st of 2025. And it's been sitting on my desk and I never painted it. But I feel like it's appropriate to paint it today. So, or at least start it as I continue to listen. I still have an hour left of the vlog to listen to before I can get it fully ready for upload to YouTube. So it says follow your dreams, and that's what I'm doing. Independence Day.
Consequences a narcissist only 3 consequences a narcissist truly understands. Number 1, when the person who protected their carefully crafted image becomes a person who exposes it. This is the consequence narcissists fear the most, because their entire life depends on controlling what other people know about them. For years, you stayed silent. You hid the rage, the affairs, the financial abuse, the lies, the humiliation, and everything that happened behind closed doors. Because you were protecting the marriage. You had to. The children, the family, or their reputation. Then one day you stop protecting the image and start exposing the person behind it. This time you do not come with emotions they can call bitterness. You come with messages, recordings, dates, bank statements, screenshots, witnesses, and undeniable proof. Proof so clear that no flying monkey, enabler, relative, or family member can twist it into another story. That's when narcissists understand consequences, because the person who knew the most about them is no longer helping them hide. 2, when the person they believed could never leave breaks every grip and leaves anyway. Narcissists do not treat you badly because they believe you're free. They treat you badly because they believe you're trapped. Emotionally trapped because you love them. Financially trapped because you control the money. Psychologically trapped because they have destroyed your confidence and convinced you that you cannot survive without them. That is why they become more cruel over time. They believe you will complain, cry, threaten to leave, and still remain exactly where they placed you. Then you do the one thing they never prepared for. Break the emotional grip. You break the financial grip. You break the psychological grip, and you leave. That is a consequence they cannot digest, because the person they believed they had completely controlled proved that their control was never as permanent as they thought. Now, before I tell you what the third thing is, I've created a free quiz that'll tell you in less than 2 minutes if you're dealing with a narcissist or not. Take it right now. Link is in the bio. 3, when you finally start giving them the treatment their behavior deserves. This is when the entire power dynamic changes. When they give you the silent treatment, you finally start giving them the treatment their behavior deserves. This is when the entire power dynamic changes. When they give you the silent treatment, you
Oh, it keeps cutting off.
giving them the treatment their behavior deserves. This is when the entire power dynamic changes. When they give you the silent treatment, you become silent too. But your silence does not come from pain anymore. It comes from relief. You stop chasing them, asking what happened, or begging them to speak, and that irritates the narcissist because the punishment they designed for you has started feeling like peace. When they become mean, cold, or disrespectful, you give them no reaction, as if their behavior is no longer important enough to disturb you. When they smear your name, you do not sit quietly hoping the truth will reveal itself. You run an anti-smear campaign. You come with facts, proof, dates, messages, and the real story.
I've had annual physicals my entire adult life.
Empath the narcissist never expects. Not the healed one, not the silent one, but the one who snaps and decides pain is the language that will finally be understood. This empath loved deeply once, forgave endlessly, bled quietly. They tried leaving with grace. They tried boundaries. They tried peace. But the narcissist kept pressing, mocking the mercy, testing the limits, reopening wounds just to feel powerful. And something inside the empath burned. This is not the empath who wants closure. This is the empath who wants impact. They stop caring about winning. They stop caring about being right. They stop caring about who they become in the process. All that matters now is that the narcissist feels what was once dismissed. So the empath studies, not with curiosity, but with intent. They learn what destabilizes, what triggers insecurity, what wounds the ego without leaving fingerprints, and then they double it. Neglect answered with calculated absence. Gaslighting returned as cold truth. Public charm met with quiet exposure. Not the same tactics, but the same pain magnified. This empath becomes toxic, yes, but not mindless, not reckless, focused. They do not rage blindly, they execute emotionally. And here is the danger no one wants to name. An empath fueled by anger knows exactly where to strike, because they once cared enough to memorize everything. To the narcissist, this is terrifying, because this empath does not seek dominance, they seek damage. No reconciliation, no apology, no moral high ground. Only a lesson carved so deep, it cannot be rewritten. Some empaths do not heal immediately. Some descend first, into shadow, into wrath, into vengeance. And while this path is destructive, it is also revealing. It exposes the truth. Even the kindest soul, when pushed past forgiveness, can become the storm that ends the game. If this chapter feels uncomfortably familiar, acknowledge it. Come and shadow if anger changed you. Save this for the moment you question your darkness. Share it with someone fighting feelings they're afraid to admit.
Want to know who the real narcissist is? Start by looking at who stands alone. One of the biggest misconceptions about narcissistic abuse is that popularity equals innocence. No, friend, it does not. In many narcissistic abuse dynamics, the survivor is the one who ends up isolated. They lose friends, family members, and even their own reputation because they refuse to participate in the dysfunction anymore. Meanwhile, the narcissist often looks like they have an entire support system behind them. Happens way more often than you would think. Why? Because narcissists recruit enablers. They use charm, manipulation, smear campaigns, and carefully crafted stories to protect their image. Some people believe them. Others stay quiet because it's easier than confronting the truth. But here's what many survivors do not realize. Standing alone does not automatically mean that you are wrong. Sometimes it means that you are the only person willing to stop pretending that everything was okay. Healing isn't about convincing everyone else of the truth. It is about reclaiming your peace, setting healthy boundaries, and refusing to sacrifice your mental health just to fit into a dysfunctional system. The loudest crowd isn't always on the side of the truth. Remember that. Sometimes the person standing alone is simply the one who finally walked away. Have you ever felt isolated after setting boundaries or leaving a toxic relationship? If so, drop your experience in the comments so others know that they're not alone. And follow a golden way from education on narcissistic abuse, trauma recovery, emotional healing, and healthy boundaries. And as always, friends, remember, around here, we are all healing out loud together. And if you're still looking for more clarity on trauma bonds or the narcissistic cycle of abuse, go grab my free checklist in my bio. Just go grab them both, friends. They're free.
Why narcissists.
If you have these 6 traits, you are a narcissist's worst nightmare. Why? Because you are a super empath, and that's exactly the kind of person every narcissist fears secretly. The first trait is ungodly pattern recognition. You do not just listen to what they say. You remember what they said last week, what they said 3 months ago, and how it suddenly changed, and they needed to manipulate you. A narcissist survives because people forget. You become dangerous because you connect the dots. That is what it is. The second trait is aggressive, active questioning. You don't ask random questions. You ask questions that expose a hole in their story. You ask one simple thing and suddenly their whole fake personality starts sweating because they know you are not asking to understand them. You are asking because something is not matching. The third trait is that you watch quietly. You do not need to talk all the time to understand somebody. You can sit there, say very little, and still notice their tone, their body language, their fake smile, their fake sadness, and the shift in their energy. That kind of quiet seeing is dangerous to a narc. The fourth trait is that your mind starts connecting things on the spot. While they're talking, you're already thinking, why did they say that right now? What are they trying to hide? Why are they changing direction? Why are they suddenly acting like the victim? You are picking up the game in real time. And before I move to number 5, I would like you to become a person no narcissist can stand. And I have a program for that, which I have literally named this. You can get it right now. Link is in my bio. The fifth trait is that you study actions more than words. You're not impressed by apologies, promises, or emotional speeches. You look at what they do, how they behave, how they treat people, and who they become when they do not get their way. That is where you see the truth. The sixth trait is that after the conversation is over, your mind goes back and breaks everything down. You suddenly realize this part was manipulation, this part was guilt tripping, this part was blame shifting, and this part was meant to confuse you. By the time you are done thinking, you can see the whole game very clearly. That is why a narcissist fears a super empath, because you do not just feel deeply, you see deeply, you think deeply, and once you understand their pattern, they cannot play the same game with you ever again.
So here's the picture that I was saying from dance school. And the song that I'm playing is my song that I made way back in the day when I took the music production class. And it's called Be Free. And I think that it's fitting for Independence Day because I feel like this is my independence that I'm working on. And that concludes this video for now. Check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. I actually have two channels, Nicole D. Ford Vlogger and Nicole D. Ford Vegas, where my old vlogs reside, as well as a lot of former content of my previous things that I've done in life. I've also got long form content on this channel, short form content. I'd like for you to check it out, subscribe, like, comment, share. Kind comments are preferred. Follow me on social media at Nicole D. Ford Vegas, at Nicole D. Ford Vlogger. All my links are in my bio, so check me out. Check out this channel, check out my other channel, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Make it a great day and choose happiness.